Mary Stuart was dangerous long before conspiracies, rebellions, or letters soaked with treason ever existed. Her danger was quieter, older, rooted deep within bloodlines England could never fully escape. Mary was born crowned, legitimate, Catholic, and adored by forces Elizabeth struggled endlessly to control. Elizabeth ruled through law, compromise, and survival. Mary ruled through inheritance and belief. Belief moves men faster than fear, especially when faith promises salvation through obedience. To Catholics across Europe, Mary was not rebellion. She was restoration. She represented a return to divine order that England had violently rejected. Elizabeth understood this reality early, even while still a vulnerable princess herself. Her sister's reign taught her how swiftly religion could burn nations alive. England's conversion to Protestantism was incomplete, fragile, and constantly threatened by memory. Mary was memory incarnate, walking proof that history could reverse direction. Her bloodline traced back cleanly, uncontested, older than Elizabeth's disputed legitimacy. To many, Elizabeth was tolerated. Mary was rightful. That distinction mattered more than armies or treaties ever could. A single crowned alternative destabilizes power more effectively than 10,000 soldiers. Elizabeth inherited a throne already shaking beneath unresolved faith and fractured loyalty. Mary's existence widened every crack. France celebrated her, Rome blessed her, Spain calculated around her survival. She needed no action, others acted for her constantly. Plots bloomed naturally around symbols, regardless of intention or awareness. Mary did not need ambition to be dangerous. Her name alone unified men willing to kill for certainty. Elizabeth watched rebellions ignite elsewhere and recognized the pattern immediately. Where faith meets bloodline, reason surrenders quickly. England stood newly Protestant, economically fragile, diplomatically isolated, surrounded by Catholic powers. Mary's survival made the invasion morally justified, not merely strategic. That terrified Elizabeth more than any foreign fleet assembling. Queens rarely fear soldiers. They fear legitimacy weaponized against them. Mary's life offered Europe a moral excuse to intervene. Elizabeth ruled, knowing England's enemies prayed daily for Mary's restoration. Every rumor, every birth, every marriage involving Mary carried geopolitical consequences. Elizabeth hoped distance would weaken Mary's influence. Instead, distance purified her image. A confined queen becomes mythic. A free queen makes mistakes. Mary's imprisonment transformed her into the perfection she never truly possessed. Time turned her into a symbol larger than herself. Elizabeth aged, ruling alone, childless, knowing succession magnified Mary's danger further. Without an heir, England's future trembled dangerously. Mary's son existed, Catholic baptized, waiting beyond England's control. Every year Mary lived, England's future narrowed. Elizabeth's counsel pressed relentlessly. Understanding stakes Elizabeth carried personally. Mercy preserved conscience. Action preserved the realm. Elizabeth delayed because queens carry history's judgment longer than kings. But delay only sharpened the blade hovering above England. Mary's letters continued, coded carefully, promising approval without direct command. Plausible deniability does not erase responsibility when consequences are fatal. Elizabeth's spies decoded intentions rather than words. The Babington plot merely confirmed what survival already demanded. Elizabeth faced a choice no ruler escapes forever. Protect one woman or protect millions. Sacrifice conscience or sacrifice country. Mary's death became inevitable long before the scaffold appeared. History merely waited for paperwork to catch reality. Elizabeth signed the warrant knowing innocence no longer mattered. Danger outweighs virtue when existence itself threatens survival. Mary prepared for death with grace that Elizabeth could never afford publicly. She dressed as a martyr, understanding symbolism would outlive her body. Elizabeth understood that too and feared it deeply. The execution ended Mary's life, not her influence, but it severed Europe's most dangerous excuse. England stabilized immediately, brutally, undeniably. Elizabeth paid with peace of mind she never recovered. Yet the realm endured. Survival demanded blood. History moved forward. Mary's execution did not erase her power. It redirected it permanently into legend and martyrdom. But legends cannot invade, crown kings, or sign treaties. Living queens can. Elizabeth understood the difference instinctively. Dead symbols inspire memory. Living symbols inspire action. England needed memory, not movement. The aftermath proved Elizabeth's decision terrifyingly effective. Catholic plots collapsed without Mary's heartbeat anchoring them. Foreign powers lost moral justification for invasion overnight. Rebellion starved without a crowned alternative to rally around. Mary's death simplified England's future at unimaginable moral cost. Elizabeth's reign stabilized, strengthened, and ultimately defined an era. Peace returned not through forgiveness but through finality. That is the cruel arithmetic of power. History often pretends rulers choose between good and evil. In truth, they choose between evils of different scales. Elizabeth chose the evil that allowed England to survive intact. Mary chose faith, destiny, and belief over political caution. Both women paid fully for their choices. Mary lost her life. Elizabeth lost sleep, joy, and innocence. Neither outcome was a victory, but survival masquerades convincingly as triumph. England's Protestant identity hardened permanently after Mary's execution. There would be no Catholic restoration led by bloodline alone. Elizabeth closed a chapter England could not afford to revisit. Mary's supporters mourned, but they could no longer mobilize. Grief lacks momentum. Hope fuels revolutions. Mary's death extinguished hope. Elizabeth ruled longer, stronger, lonelier. Her fear never vanished. It merely evolved into vigilance. She governed, knowing mercy nearly destroyed her once. That lesson hardened her permanently. Power teaches quickly, punishes hesitation mercilessly. Elizabeth survived because she learned faster than her rivals. Mary trusted destiny would protect her legitimacy. Destiny rarely protects anyone without force. Elizabeth trusted intelligence, spies, patience, and decisive brutality. Those tools build empires, not saints. History rarely crowns saints. Mary's story comforts those who believe virtue should prevail. Elizabeth's story warns that virtue alone collapses under pressure. England remembers Elizabeth as Gloriana, not executioner. Time softens bloodstains when outcomes favor survival. Mary's legacy burns brighter emotionally, but dimmer politically. Elizabeth's legacy governs institutions, laws, and national identity still. That difference defines power's true measurement. Mary inspired hearts. Elizabeth shaped nations. History remembers both, but follows only one. England could not afford Mary's continued existence. Not because she acted maliciously, but because she symbolized reversal. Symbols destabilize faster than swords ever could. Elizabeth destroyed Mary to destroy the possibility itself. A future England that could not survive was eliminated. That decision echoes in every stable crown afterward. Rulers learned that legitimacy must be singular, not shared. Competing bloodlines invite endless violence. Elizabeth ended the competition absolutely. Mary's execution was not cruel, it was closure. A brutal, irreversible closure demanded by survival. History punishes hesitation more harshly than bloodshed. Elizabeth accepted that truth and lived with its consequences. Mary never truly understood the danger she embodied. That misunderstanding cost her everything. England endured because Elizabeth chose decisiveness over mercy. That is why England had to destroy Mary, Queen of Scots. History does not forgive danger left alive.